All right, so there's 27. We're not for a while we'll go in order, but then we'll kind of get out of order. We're going to start with that first set of amendments, and so that'd be row one's amendments, which you all have to write all of these down anyway. These are the personal freedom amendments. So amendments 1 through 4 were your personal freedom amendments, and we're going to start just with number 1, first of all. Remember, 1 through 10 are your Bill of Rights, which are rights that protect citizens from the government, basically. So looking at amendment number 1, somebody in row 1, can you tell me what, in your own words, or in not exactly what it says there, but what is that, Drew? What is that amendment?
I put Congress shall not make any laws against religious or political freedom. Also, they shall respect all rights.
Okay. Anybody else have anything different in that row? Eli?
I have Congress cannot make laws that interfere with our religious, tribal, and political freedom.
Okay, good. Basically, your amendment number 1 is your freedom of speech, religion, assembly, and petition, and press. Press should be on there. So, freedom of speech, meaning you have the right to state any of your own ideas, your own opinions. Freedom of religion, you have the right to worship whatever religion you wish. Freedom of press, the right to publish your ideas in newspapers without, Yes, well, unless you are happy with yours, you should already have it. The right to assembly is basically meet peacefully in groups, kind of like protest but peacefully, and the right petition is protesting also, but again, peacefully through this. So this is the very first amendment. It's a big one. The freedom of speech is a really big amendment that people like to throw out there all the time. Number 2. What do you got for number 2? James, what's the second amendment? James, do you have your book open? Buddha, what's amendment number 2?
I put free states can protect themselves and others so they can have weapons.
There you go, weapons. Amendment number 2 is the right to bear arms, and arms means weapons. A second amendment states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And the reason that this amendment was put out was to protect themselves against the government. If you're right, and so it's in there, and people want to take that away from us, and they shouldn't, because if the government does, right, we need to be able to protect ourselves. And they also state that they want to get rid of the assault rifles, but if the government could come, something happens with the government, you kind of might need those things. So,
Honestly,
right, usually the people that have them legally are the ones that aren't going to be doing the bad things with them. The people that are doing the bad things are getting them illegally, and they're going
to do background checks every time they purchase.
You do have. They always have.
They do, but they're doing it more like strictly.
Yeah, but I mean, if
Like,
you're a
they
criminal,
changed this system.
if you're a criminal and you want to get a gun, you're going to get a gun. Period. You're going to get it. You're going to break different laws to get it. So no matter what they do, what they're harming are the people that are doing it the right way. So that's just an opinion of mine. So you guys can take it with what you want. Number 3, Eli, what you got?
Number 3, I have no American shall be forced to house troops.
Yes, remember when the British were there, they forced the colonists to house troops. So that was an important one of them. We call it no quartering of troops, meaning no housing any troops.
Mine's kind of different, but somewhat like his. I put no one shall be made to house soldiers, only if granted to stay during wartime.
Okay, same thing, yeah. Garrett?
Why don't they just I mean, I know it's the Bill of Rights, so it's immensely important, but why not just revoke that? It holds absolutely no ground now.
Yeah.
But it could. It's
Could,
to protect your rights. It's just like the right to bear arms, because if the government, if something happens big time economically, and we have a war in our country, let's say, you need to protect the people. That was such a big deal. They didn't want happening to them, so they wanted it in there. And since it's the Bill of Rights, it protects us, because once it's taken out, You never know what they can do. So you know it doesn't have any effect on us today because we don't need that, but you never know what could possibly happen. Think about during the Civil War. Maybe what if they would have forced people to house soldiers during the Civil War? That could have happened also, but it was already in here.
I think they kinda did.
But that was voluntarily.
Yeah.
Kind of. They didn't,
Well, to a point.
they didn't force them to do anything, though.
I'm pretty sure we do it voluntarily.
If necessary,
Yeah.
but if we were taken over by another, you know.
So, I mean, we just seized land and we're like, technically we're not taken, so.
All right, Drew, number 4.
For fourth one, search and seizure.
Yeah.
I put officials cannot search any property, but only if they have officials with.
Yep, this is your the right to no illegal search and seizures. Now, a big deal for kids your age is lockers. And this has gone to the Supreme Court, and lockers can be searched without your permission. And why can they be searched without your permission, Garrett?
It's public property.
It's public property. It's the school's property. It's not your property. The stuff in there is yours, but you are putting stuff in the school's property. People have taken this to the Supreme Court, state Supreme Courts, because they think they're being done illegally, but the Supreme Court continues to come back and state that it is being done illegally because it is the school's property. However, in a car, that's different. That's your property. Yes.
But what I think wasn't mentioned though is that if there's proper cause.
But right, you have to have proper
So,
cause,
I mean,
obviously.
even
If
you
they
don't have a
think
warrant,
if Jacob Bromley is walking in and
He
it
has
looks
a
like he's
bomb.
hiding something in his backpack, and Mr. Schaefer's a little worried about it, Mr. Schaefer has reason to go search Jacob's locker, and then he finds maybe a cigarette or something in there.
It was a teddy bear.
Teddy
Don't
bear.
let him lie.
So there you go. That's why when
was
you're
gonna
pulled
go,
over
yeah.
by police, they cannot just start searching your car. They have to have, well, if they see you possibly hiding something that looks like drugs, they can, but they can't just say, open your trunk. That's their search and seizure.
What's sad about that?
They can ask you to open up the trunk.
No, they can ask you, and you can do it if you'd like, but they can't just force you to.
Yeah, and then you like open
Okay,
up and make them look
hey,
like a
guys.
fool.
All right, listen. If you want to share things, you have to raise your hand. All right, but if it's not necessary, we don't need to. So we're going to move on to the fair and legal treatment ones, and these are 5 through 8, which would have been row 2. And we'll start with number 5. You might have heard I take the 5th before. I plead 5th. Zach?
I said for no thought, amendment 5, a fair and just trial for the citizens.
Okay. Yeah, there's more to it. Might be more to it. Anybody else have anything? There's a couple more things in it. Well, first of all, basically the whole Fifth Amendment protects the person that is accused. All right, you have the right to say, when you say I take the 5th, you're meaning you're not going to basically rat yourself out. If someone says, did you kill that person, Colby? You don't have to answer. Colby can say, I take the 5th, because you don't want to, basically what it is ratting yourself out. Also in the 5th Amendment is double jeopardy. The double jeopardy one, which means if Colby's accused of murdering Bromley,
I'm back here though.
and
That's why he's accused.
he's become, he is innocent, Colby goes out,
Come and goes.
kills Bromley, Colby cannot be put up again for the same exact crime. Anyone seen the movie Double Jeopardy?
No, but
I saw it like a
always
long
talks
time
about
ago,
it.
but
It's a good one. What happens in the movie is this lady's husband fakes his own death but makes it look like she murdered him. So he goes and gets out of there, and she gets put in jail and is found guilty of his murder. He's not dead. And is put in jail. Well, while she's in jail, she's looking up the law and all this and that, and found out about double jeopardy. When she gets out of jail, she goes and murders the guy. Double jeopardy.
Well, there's the whole plot.
So there you be.
Don't go see it now.
Well, now we can't see it because you
So-
just told us the whole movie.
Go watch the game. That's
It's a
Well,
good
when
movie.
we
All right,
technically
shh.
already did that.
Guys, Zach,
Raise your hand.
thank you. Okay, she cannot be put back in jail for the second time for that. Number 6, Peyton, what you got for number 6? Garrett?
I put that along with, okay, a person accused of a crime has the right to be his attorney or hire one in his favor and also have character witnesses, that will testify in their favor. They can also have fast trials.
Your right to a speedy and public trial, the right to have a lawyer present, a counsel, and if you cannot afford one, someone gives you one. This is where your Miranda rights comes in. Anytime you are arrested, the police must give you your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed for you. It must be stated. Okay? You probably hear it all the time on TV when people get arrested. Now, this kind of came into effect. There was a kid, and it's named after a guy by the name of Ernesto Miranda. And he was charged with kidnapping and rape. And he was questioned by the police. He confessed, signed a written statement that yes, he did this. But he had never been told he had the right to say nothing without having a lawyer, or that he could have a lawyer. He was convicted by a jury based on that written confession. But in 1966, the Supreme Court ruled that the police had violated his Miranda rights. And he was able to get off from it because he was not read his Miranda rights. So the police must question people at all times and inform them of their rights. So, very important if you ever become a policeman or lady. Number 7, Lena, what's number 7?
Trial by jury. You can take a higher than $20. You have the right to a trial by jury.
Okay. Trial by jury, basically. Nice and simple, trial by jury. Number 8, you got Garrett?
Judges can only impose reasonable punishments for crimes.
This is your cruel and unusual punishment. Punishment must not be cruel and unusual. This amendment is debated quite a bit because many people feel that the death penalty is cruel and unusual. However, it has changed throughout time and been changed from firing squads to hangings to electric chairs and just to the plain old lethal injection thing. So some say that is cruel and unusual. I mean, it's a big one that can be debated. Excessive bail cannot be put upon people as well. Colby?
I say that we should keep the death penalty.
Okay. Good. We're not going to go into a debate about it, but if you have statements, Don, we're not going to go into a debate about this. Garrett?
So it's just kind of like the English Bill of Rights.
Yeah, that's where we got the idea, was from the English Bill of Rights. No debate.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
Okay.
But and when they do their lethal injections,
Yes.
people can watch.
Yes, I know.
Like their family can watch.
Yep.
Them.
Yes, that's correct. All right, 9 and 10. Everyone was the ones doing 9 and 10. 9 and 10 are your reserved powers amendments. Did anyone figure anyone in anywhere? And number 9, PJ, what do you got?
I got that people have the rights to never be belittled or I'm not sure how else to put it.
Okay. Well, that's for the most part. I mean, you're on the right track. It basically protects people's rights that are really not in the Constitution. Okay, so it's your rights of the people. These are people's rights, and so these rights are enumerated powers, meaning they're not in the Constitution necessarily. So it just kind of makes sure again that it's protecting people's rights. And again, number 10 goes along with this. This goes along with people's rights and the rights of states. Garrett, did you get this one?
Yeah, I put if the Constitution does not state the problem, it's up to the state's government to make the executive decision.
There you go. Really good. Meaning, states are free to make laws that are outside of the Constitution. So again, if it's not stated in the Constitution, the states have the right to make law. So these just protect people and states' rights that are just not in the Constitution. They really wanted to protect these people's rights. So, closer look says the 10th Amendment gives the states reserved powers. Any powers not clearly given to the national government by the United States Constitution or denied to the states in Article 1, Section 10 belong to the states. State constitutions sometimes assume authority in unexpected areas. For example, California's Constitution sets rules for governing the use of fishing nets. There's lots of different rules different states have. So, There you go. Those are your Bill of Rights. Now we're going to move to the rest of the amendments that have been added since your Bill of Rights, which was Bill of Rights, all those for 1 through 10, 1791. So, the next ones, which that row 3, Bromley's row, these are on elections and if you're a governing officer, office of the government. So we're skipping 11 for now. We're going to number 12. Basically, it's a long one. You read through it. It's pretty long, but what does it say? What does 12 say, Dustin?
It's kind of how, like, the president and vice president and stuff is elected, and kind of the orders that it goes in.
Good. Number 12 is there will be separate ballots for the president and vice president. Remember when we were talking about how president and vice president were elected a long time ago? Whoever got first place was president. Whoever got second place, vice president. In 1804, they changed this and decided we're now going to have the president and vice president run together. If you take a closer look, the closer look says the presidential election of 1800 ended in a tie between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr. At this time, the candidate with the most votes became president. The runner-up became vice president. The 12th Amendment calls for separate ballots for president and vice president. The vice president is specifically elected to the office rather than being the presidential candidate with the second most votes. So it's kind of important now they are the same party rather than before they were most likely opposite parties. 17, if you're wanting to follow in the book, goes to 272. What does 17 state? Bromley, you get it?
Yeah, basically says how the Senate for each state are chosen by the state, but they're chosen by the state.
Good. Senators are elected directly by the people. Remember, president is elected by the Electoral College, not directly by the people. And senators are elected directly by the people. What?
I wanted to do number 20. It's like it's called
Oh.
the name dog.
Okay. And Bromley wants to do number 20 because he likes what it's called.
Yeah, the lame duck session.
Okay, can you explain it to us?
Yeah, it explains like what happens when the president, vice president, someone from the Senate or the House term ends. Like what happens when their terms end.
Okay. Yeah. So, lame duck. The president is elected in what month?
January.
Cameron? Not elected. Elected. Drew?
Oh,
When's he elected? Jacob?
I think November.
He's elected in November. When does he take office and officially become president? It stated it in there. January 20th. So, between November and January, there is this period that we call the lame duck. Except for when it's the same president going in. So, like, now when Obama is out of office here this next time between November and January, the new president will be lame duck. It used to be the president became president in March, but they changed that to January 20th. Between that time, the president does quite a bit of things to try to keep his party in office as best as he can. May that be appointing chief justices if that's necessary, possibly pardoning people, meaning release them from prison. It's just a lame duck period because you're still a president, but not really. So you're like a lame duck. Kind of funny. It's a neat little thing. So they call it the lame duck sessions. Alrighty, moving on to number 22. Ethan, did you get 22?
I put that in the budget, can be elected once. And if you're commission,
Say that one more time.
every president can be elected once.
I think you got it a little wrong. Cameron?
No person shall be elected to office more than twice.
Twice. Number 22 is the presidential term is, you may have 2 terms. Okay, limits the presidential terms to 2. A closer look, it said George Washington set the tradition of limiting the presidency to 2 terms. It wasn't in the Constitution. Franklin Roosevelt broke this custom when he was elected president 4 terms in a row, 32, 36, 40, and 44. His record-long presidency led to the 22nd Amendment, a 2-term limit written into the Constitution. Roosevelt's 4 terms. When Roosevelt accepted the nomination for a 3rd term, even some of his strongest supporters objected. His previous vice president, John Garner, was among those who disagreed. But with war raging in Europe and economic depression still a threat in the U.S., Roosevelt ran in 1940 on the idea that the country shouldn't switch horses in the middle of the stream. In 1944, as World War II continued, Roosevelt won a 4th term. Fearing an imperial presidency, Congress moved to institutionalize the custom of a 2-term presidency. So now no one can do what Mr. Roosevelt did.
Did he have like a medical problem?
Yes, polio. He was in a wheelchair at all times.
Go stand up there.
I thought he was only seeing pictures.
I like that. All right,
Garrett told me.
number 25. Jordan, what do you got for 25?
That the vice president will fill in for the president if something.
This is your presidential succession. It states what will happen if the president moves on in life. Vice president becomes president, and then it states that the speaker becomes president. So, like I showed you before, a very, very long list of.
And then they all have a meeting and one person goes somewhere else.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I
And
didn't know
then we do have more, but this is the last amendment. Number 27, Dustin.
It talks about like how the Congress and things are paid, like their different compensations that they're given over the
Yeah.
course of their working.
Talks about their pay. I mean, because they set their own salary, but it also states that they cannot increase their salary until the next session starts, because they are the ones that set their own salaries. Must be nice. I wish I could set my salary.
How much
They'd be making a lot.
But Senate has to pass it. And
Yeah. And the opposite houses have to pass it, but what if you want to raise, though? All right, so those are your election ones. We're going to go backwards to numbers 11. And we're going to talk about the social and economic type amendments, which are 11, 14, 16, 18, and 21. They have to do with social and economic statuses. Do you have a question?
yeah, about 25.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it true that under certain situations, different people can take charge? Like, if the president's under duress,
Then that would be,
Secretary of War or Secretary of Defense.
it would be the next person. It would be like an interim type, the acting president.
Yeah, so
Yes.
under different situations, different
Right.
people take charge.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
My question, but for the number 10, it's in constitution, you put constitution without the S.
Where? On here?
Yeah, for the 10th.
Oh, okay. No big deal. Thank you. Social and economic. Number 11. What do you got? Anyone in that row have number 11? PJ?
United States shall have equity between jobs. Yes, kind of.
Okay.
I'm not sure how it's done.
Well-
Amendment we started on?
11. Basically, what 11 states is kind of tough one to read. It is a very, very short one, but
It's complicated.
it's complicated, yeah, because it's tough to read some of these. But what it is it protects states from being sued by citizens of another state. All right. Says the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in a law or equity commenced, blah, blah, blah. It's tough to read that. Basically what it states is it protects states from being sued from a citizen of another state. It can't be lawsuits. Yep. Number 14. What's this one talk about? 14. Drake Dodson, you got it?
Yeah.
What you got?
I put that states cannot take away life, liberty, or property without state law.
Okay. Anything else that goes with number 14? Okay. Well, the big part of this one of the big parts is it states that anybody that is born or naturalized in the U.S. is a citizen. But it also, in here, like Drake said, it's your civil rights amendment. It kind of set the ground for equal protection for people in public places like handicap, wheelchair accessible things and ramps, and just kind of protecting people's rights. It's your civil rights amendments. This was a big one, 1868.
All persons.
Yeah, that's it, proper. All persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States. 16. I don't like this one. Lauren?
Congress will have the right to impose and establish taxes based on income.
Yeah, this one sucks. Congress has the authority to tax your income. Blah. People below the poverty level as defined by the federal government do not have to pay income tax. In 1997, the poverty level for a family of four was $16,400 per year. That was in 97. I'm not sure what the poverty level is today. In that year, about 13% of people were considered poor. I don't know what poverty level number is. I'll try to find it out and get it to you
A
tomorrow.
bigger percent.
Oh, I'm sure
is
it's
today.
around a couple million, you know, just to make sure that everyone's getting their help.
All right, we're gonna take a stop there. We were gonna have a quiz tomorrow over the amendments, but I'm gonna move it until Thursday because we're gonna do something else. So we're gonna have a quiz on the amendments on Thursday. So make sure you can study the ones you have already, but we'll finish up Thursday. Get those newspapers up on your desk too.